Hello. Is it just me, or have there been an unusual number of frog games lately? Is there something special that indie developers see in the humble frog? Or is this perhaps the secret sauce that indie games are always searching for? I don't have all the answers, but I do have some evidence. Exhibit A. We are only just beginning the 4th month of 2026, but I'd argue that one of the most notable indie releases of the year so far has been the 3D platformer Big Hops. This debut title from Luckshot Games has earned some critical praise for its creative traversal mechanics. The protagonist, a frog, uses his tongue as a grappling hook and can use various fruits as tools to help navigate the landscape. I think that taking a look at this gameplay, we can start to see how the frog's secrets come into place. First, it is of course an adorable design. Frogs are naturally small, and they have big, bulbous eyes. Plus, their natural talents make for great game mechanics. The long, sticky tongue is a grappling hook, the sticky hands for climbing on walls. Now, why does this amphibian have eyebrows? I don't know, but that's a mystery for another time. Also, as a side note, you should check out the making of Big Hops, a really cool documentary that a buddy of mine worked on. It's super cool to see stuff like this because we usually don't get to see the inner workings of a small indie studio like this, so I highly recommend checking it out. There's a link in the description. Now let's take a look at Exhibit B, Frog Sqwad. This is the debut co-op game from former Fall Guys developers Panic Stations, and it recently announced a June 2026 release window. Frog Sqwad seems to operate somewhat like Lethal Company or Repo. The players delve into the procedurally generated sewers and try to gather enough food and bring it back to appease the Swamp King, or they'll end up as the Swamp King's lunch themselves. These frogs are also pretty cute, but introduce a new element to the frog's repertoire: goofiness. The popularity of these kind of games, friend-like, co-sloprative, whatever you want to call them, it tends to rely on the pressure of meeting a quota, as well as the humor in the inevitable failure. Frog Sqwad appears to prove that yes, frogs can be funny, which I submit as another reason for their explosion in popularity. Frog Sqwad has a demo on Steam right now if you want to check it out. Exhibit C. There's one other upcoming frog game that had a big demo during Steam Next Fest. Sledding Game from developer... Am I reading this right? The Sledding Corporation? Oh, okay. So big sleds getting in on this too. Sledding Game is a simple experience. It's just about hanging out on a mountain, going sledding, and hanging out with friends. The demo was a good time. But what you probably don't need me to point out is that Sledding Game proves that the frog is an utterly majestic creature that deserves our respect. Exhibit D. We're far from done with the frog-like Next Fest demos, and this one is actually a particular favorite of mine. Croak is a hand-drawn precision platformer, developed and published by Woodrunner Games. It's beautiful to look at, but it also offers some fun and creative platforming challenges. The main mechanic is the frog prince's ability to bounce off a wall using its tongue. So Croak teaches us that frogs are popular because they are round and bouncy. I don't know, this is just a really great game. You should go play the demo. Exhibit E through a bunch. This is Jigrift from Empty Castle Games. I didn't get to play the demo for this one, but it does look cool. You play as a magical frog who can manipulate the islands around him to fit together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You are able to swap back and forth between a third-person perspective and a top-down view, and I'm curious to see how this ability to actually change the map around you impacts the usual platforming challenges. I think Jigrift shows us that frogs are very clever and good at solving puzzles. Up next we have Froggy Hates Snow. Same dude. This is a survival action roguelite from a studio called Crying Brick, where you manage resources and dig through snow between fighting off waves of shadow monsters, all while operating from and protecting your small pocket of warmth in the cold. Froggy Hates Snow shows us that frogs are survivors. They can adapt, they can fight shadow monsters. Then we have Bonnie Bear Saves Frogtime. I didn't even know there was a thing called Frogtime, let alone that it needed saving. This game was just released a few weeks ago. It's a comedy adventure centered around a tactical frog game called Frogtime. So what this teaches us is that frogs are military strategists. Wait, look at all these frog games. Frog Island, Mudborn, Frog Song, Frog Detective 1, Frog Detective 2, Frog Detective 3. Wait, are they all frogs? Always have been. So yeah, I feel like there's been kind of a lot of frog games, especially this year. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? If you enjoyed this wacky video, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It goes a long way in helps encourage me to continue to do wacky ideas like this. This is probably the most unhinged video that I've thought of since doing this whole Finally Got Around to project. I've been putting out a ton of shorts lately for lots of cool indie games that I've got to try. So if you're in the mood for cool indie game recommendations, games to add to your wish list, make sure to check that out. Yeah. Frogs, man.